Half his paycheck? Olivia Grant's voice cracked through the quiet office, disbelief echoing in the polished glass walls. Her eyes darted from the charity report in her hand to the man standing humbly in front of her, the janitor she'd barely noticed for 3 years. James Porter stood still, his worn blue uniform creased from long hours, his hands rough and cracked. His eyes, though, were calm, deep, kind, and without shame. "Yes, ma'am," he said softly. "They're just kids." They didn't ask to be alone. The silence that followed could have shattered glass. Olivia, the CEO of Ellison Dynamics, the woman whose signature could move millions, suddenly felt smaller than the man with the mop. "Sit," she whispered, sinking into her leather chair, eyes glassy. "Tell me why, James." He hesitated, then took off his cap, pressing it nervously between his palms. "Because I was one of them." The words hit her like thunder. And as he spoke, the truth unfolded, piece by piece, until the world she'd built on power and pride began to crumble. 3 weeks earlier, the world had looked very different for Olivia Grant. She ruled the 47th floor of a glass tower, her reflection stretching across the Chicago skyline, a woman who'd built her empire from nothing but ambition and sleepless nights. People whispered when she walked past, not because she was kind, but because she was untouchable. That night, she had stayed late, working on a deal that would earn her company millions. The only sound in the hallway outside was the rhythmic squeak of a mop. She stepped out, phone pressed to her ear, irritation flickering in her eyes. "No, tell Tokyo we don't lower prices for anyone." Her voice stopped mid-sentence when she saw him, the janitor, bent over, scrubbing the floor with quiet precision. His movements were slow, deliberate, almost graceful, like a man finding peace in the one thing he could control. He looked up and smiled. "Evening, ma'am." She barely nodded and kept walking. To her, he was just another background noise in her perfect, polished world. But that same night, she forgot her phone charger in the break room. When she went back, she saw him again, standing near the vending machine, counting a few wrinkled bills, then slipping them into a white envelope. On the front, scrawled in messy blue ink, were the words, "West 48th Orphanage Fund." Olivia paused, curious. He didn't see her. He tucked the envelope into his bag, wiped his hands on his pants, and returned to mopping. The next morning, curiosity got the best of her. She quietly asked HR for his file. "James Porter, single father, works night shift, 8 years on staff," the report said. Nothing unusual, until she saw the note. "Employee consistently requests early paycheck for charitable reasons." She scoffed under her breath. Charitable reasons? On a janitor's salary? Later that day, as she exited the parking garage, she noticed him outside near the curb, kneeling beside a little boy whose bike chain had come off. The kid, no more than 10, was laughing as James fixed it with bare hands. When the boy hugged him and rode off, Olivia saw it again. That quiet, humble smile that didn't need the world's approval. That image haunted her all week. Finally, her curiosity led her to the West 48th Orphanage, the address she'd seen on that envelope. Her driver parked outside a modest brick building with faded blue doors and a crooked sign that read, "Home for Hope." Inside, the air smelled of crayons and soup. Laughter echoed down the hallway, children running, playing, alive. And in the middle of it all, sitting cross-legged on the floor, was James. He was reading a storybook aloud, his son beside him, helping hold the pages. Around them, children giggled, leaning close, hanging on to every word. The caretaker noticed Olivia standing by the door. "You must be Miss Grant," she said warmly. "You're James's boss, aren't you?" Olivia nodded slowly. "Yes, I didn't know he volunteered here." "Oh, he does more than that," the caretaker said. "He pays for half our food budget every month. Buys coats in the winter. Never wants his name mentioned. Said it's between him and God." Olivia couldn't speak. Her throat tightened. She'd come here expecting to see a man chasing pity. Instead, she saw something pure. something she'd lost long ago. That night, she sat in her penthouse, staring at her reflection in the window. She thought about the bonuses she gave to executives who didn't even know the janitor's name. She thought about how she'd built her success on the illusion of strength, and how a man making $15 an hour had more humanity than she ever had. The next day, she called him to her office. He entered quietly, hat in hand. "You wanted to see me, ma'am?" Olivia stood by the window trying to find her words. "I visited the orphanage." James's eyes widened. "Oh, I didn't mean for anyone." She raised a hand gently. "Don't apologize." Her voice cracked slightly. "You've done more good than any of us here." He shifted uncomfortably. "I just do what I can. Those kids don't have parents. I know how that feels." That's when she asked, "Why give half your paycheck? You could use it for your own son." James's gaze softened. "I don't give to lose. I give because I remember what it's like to need and have no one care." The words hit her harder than any business loss ever could. That night, Olivia stayed late again. But this time, she didn't see the mop as noise. She saw the man behind it. The same man who cleaned her floor by night and saved lives by day. 2 weeks later, Ellison Dynamics announced something no one expected: a new community program funding education and housing for local orphanages. During the press conference, reporters asked her what inspired it. Olivia smiled and simply said, "A man who teaches me what success truly means works right here, as our janitor." James watched the broadcast from the hallway, mop in hand, tears silently glistening in his eyes. Later, as he packed up for the night, Olivia walked by and paused. "You changed this company, James," she said softly. He smiled faintly. "I didn't change anything, ma'am. You just started looking deeper." She nodded, eyes warm. "Maybe that's all it takes." As the elevator doors closed behind her, James turned off the last light. The building fell quiet, spotless, shining. And somewhere deep in that silence, kindness lingered. The kind that didn't make headlines but changed hearts. "Good night, ma'am," he whispered to the empty hallway.